All right, so today I'm gonna be doing a little differently, because I will be speaking about something that is not really factual. I mean, it's kind of factual, I guess, in that it is, the reality of something. Um, but it's something this sort of thing I wasn't intending to do with this channel, but I may do more of. I don't know. Um, but I do want to get the fact across. My fact today, daily fact. Um, Tourette syndrome. You're probably familiar with it as that disorder where people, swear at random times or whatever. But if you ever watch that South Park episode where Cartman pretends to have Tourette syndrome, then you probably know that that's not it. That's not all of it, at least. There are also other facets of Tourette syndrome, like physical tics that a person does, and it's just that for some of them there are verbal tics that happen. So it's not just swearing incessantly, but that swearing incessantly thing that is called coprolalia, which essentially copra is essentially feces, and lalia talking. So essentially, the people who have that aspect of Tourette syndrome are talking shit. So there's that. And segueing with talking shit, I'm going to talk about some shit talk that I came across last night. You may have seen an article recently about this Mormon elder. I think that's, a Mormon elder who was in Chile and taking some questions from the audience, and he was asked about how homosexuality, or specifically actually how homosexuals can be in the Mormon church, how that works out. And it is important that it is homosexuals and not homosexuality, because those are two different things, essentially. Or rather, essentially, they're the same, but technically two different things. And that's why that. Mind all a jumble. I really need to get that video editing thing, so when this happens here, I can edit it out. Edit it out. That's really fun to say. Edit it out. If you jiggle it a little, it'll open. That's also really fun to say. But yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about, though, Mormon, homosexuality, homosexuals, and what happened with the shit talking. Pretty much every article that I read that was not the one that came from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints essentially were bashing the guy, bashing Mormonism, and it was just awful. Horribly awful. Like, I was aghast. And I found myself on the side of conservative Christians. And if you know me, you probably know that kind of makes me a little uncomfortable that I am kind of defending this guy. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with conservative Christian beliefs if they're your beliefs and you're not, forcing other people to have them. But that's neither here nor there. Essentially what I'm wanting to say is that there were all these liberals and LGBTQIA, etc. community members who were really laying into the guy, calling him like stupid or making really, really sarcastic remarks about his point of view. And as much as I really do like really off-color humor like that, I mean, even when it's against what I believe or what I am, I still really enjoy it. I'm just that kind of a person. So it should really say something that I did not appreciate any of those comments that were being made about this guy. Because if they had been correctly addressing what he had said, I wouldn't have had as much of a problem with it. I mean, deep down, I know I probably should be like, no, don't be saying those sorts of things about people. But I have a horrible sense of humor and schadenfreude or whatever. Anyway, so, but all these people were essentially making jokes about this guy had said that there was no such thing as homosexuality, or that there were no such thing as gay Mormons, or making jokes that said essentially that, oh, once you join the Mormon church, you're magically not gay anymore, which is not at all what he was saying. I mean, I get so upset about it, because they're not actually understanding what he's saying. They're not paying enough attention, and they're just sliding into vitriol, and it's just horrendous. And I find it even more distasteful, because liberals tend to be the ones who, well, maybe conservatives say this too. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of track with that group. But so many liberals I see they have this holier than thou, self-righteous attitude. And they just completely dropped the ball with this. I mean, they were doing what they accuse conservative Christianity, conservatives in general, of doing all the time. So it really pissed me off that they were doing this, because it just made them all a bunch of hypocrites. I hate hypocrisy so much, especially when it's pointed out and people don't recognize it. I'm probably a hypocrite for saying that. Everyone's hypocritical sometimes. Doesn't mean they go around committing hate crimes. I like Avenue Q. But yeah, so everyone's making these big jokes about how he's saying these stupid things, which he didn't say at all. I've covered that. So I need to get video editing. What he was saying, what he was actually saying, if any of them had bothered to actually read what he said and not just look at the words and react, he was saying that homosexuality in the Mormon faith, or rather either way, in this case, in this context of what I'm saying, doesn't matter. Makes no difference. And that's generally because homosexuals, that thing there is just, it is an aspect of sexual relations. And that's what he was addressing, was the sexual relations, not whether or not people had homosexual urges or attractions. He explicitly says that someone can have homosexual desires, homosexual attractions. He acknowledges the fact that people have those things, and that Mormons, people in the Mormon church, people who consider joining the Mormon church, that they have these feelings. He says, yes, that is a thing. And everyone goes apeshit, saying he's an idiot for saying that the Mormon church magically cures homosexuality. That's the exact opposite of what he said. I mean, he said that people can have homosexual attraction, homosexual desire. That's essentially the definition of a homosexual. He was saying homosexuals exist. He was saying specifically that there are homosexuals in the Mormon church. I did not think I'd get this worked up. In defense of a conservative Christian. That was a really weird scream. I love Avenue Q. So, just for those who may have read those articles and weren't aware that he actually said something different, I'll post a link to the article that I read in the description, and I will tell you right now, in case you don't want to read the article or watch there actually is a full video of everything he says, and they get everything wrong. Every single commenter, every single article I've read gets it completely wrong. God, I'm so pissed about that. I can't believe how angry I am. Avenue Q. So what he was actually saying was something that is not actually really very discriminatory. I mean, it is definitely harmful, but not necessarily discriminatory. He was saying that homosexuality, homosexual actions do not fall in line with what the LDS Church thinks of as being acceptable sexual behavior. Wasn't saying anything at all about whether or not homosexuals are accepted, whether or not they, as people, because they are homosexuals, are horrible people, abominations, anything like that. He was absolutely preaching the word of Jesus, completely and totally, in his words, because he was saying that the Bible and maybe more specifically the LDS Bible, I haven't read it, says that homosexual acts are wrong, which they're not. But if you want to believe that, fine. But he doesn't say that because you have homosexual inclinations that you're innately sinful. I mean, I suppose as a Christian organization, you probably think they are innately sinful, but that's because, everyone is innately sinful in a lot of, probably most Christian theologies. Neither here nor there. So, but what is both here and there is that he was accepting people who have homosexual inclinations. Just said that as long as they don't do the homosexual acts, they have no problem being in the Mormon faith. And that's not necessarily discriminatory, because he followed it up by saying that the homosexual attractions and desires are another challenge that some people might have, another temptation, essentially. And so he groups it, I mean, it's as a deviant behavior, I guess, is essentially maybe what you might think of it as being, but it's not at all discriminatory specifically against homosexuals, because by saying that marriage is one man, one woman having sex, and that's the only way that you can morally have sex, sign language, AS, whatever, because he lumps it in with straight people as well. So people who want to have lots of sex and they're not married, if they have sex out of marriage, they must accept the same sorts of, I don't know, excommunication, apostate status, I guess, whatever. He wasn't saying that homosexuals are horrible, they can't be in the church. He was saying that people who do not follow the tenets of the Mormon faith can't really be in the Mormon faith, which is really the definition of any religion. I mean, if you're going to be calling yourself a Christian and then just going around saying, I'm a Christian, but Jesus never existed, didn't die for my sins, did nothing, or if you're going to be like, oh, hey, wait, you know what? I had something about Hinduism. Not going to go there because I'm not as familiar with it as I should be, or especially if I'm going to comment on it like that in this context. So I'll leave it at that. He wasn't discriminating. He wasn't saying that homosexuals don't exist. He was just saying that everyone gets tempted by things. In his view, homosexual acts can be a temptation that should be avoided. You may not have to agree with it. I certainly don't. But you cannot take what he said and twist it to make him out to be an idiot. Because, and especially because a lot of what he was actually saying were things that people in the GLBT community beg for from the Christian churches. They beg to be included and not be cast out for having homosexual attractions. And he was saying, if you have homosexual attractions, that's fine. Come join us. We are all God's children. He said, we are all the sons and daughters of God. That's what LGBT people are wanting from the Christian church, to be considered the sons and daughters of God, like anyone else who wants to join the Christian faith. I should probably say LGBT Christian people. I guess their clarification. And what he was really saying, I guess, again, in the aspect of that homosexuality doesn't exist, he was saying that it is a meaningless label, which is another thing that people of the GLBT community say all the freaking time. I mean, on a lot of like social networking, dating sites, what have you, they have often a checkbox for "I don't like labels." That's essentially what he was saying. He's saying, I don't like the labels because they don't matter in this case. He was saying that there is no difference between someone wanting to have sex with a guy and who is a guy, and someone wanting to have sex with a guy or gal who is not married. They're both, neither of them fall under the category of one man, one woman who are married. So if it is not one man, one woman who is married, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. That's what he was saying. It doesn't matter if it's a guy screwing a guy. It doesn't matter if it's a guy, screwing a girl, screwing a guy, screwing a girl, or any combination of anything. Anything that is not one man, one woman, married, does not matter what you call it. That's what he was saying. And building off of that, people took that then to mean that he was then saying that, or I guess this is more of a tangent on my part, because no one actually got the idea that he was saying that, whatever. Anyway, video editing software. Where was I with the homosexuals? Oh, yes. That because he was saying that it is not kosher with the Mormon faith, kosher, that's funny, then that he is putting down all of homosexuality, all of homosexuals. I am not getting my terms right. But no, that's not what he was saying either. Because if that were the case, then he would also be saying that about straight people as well. Because there's a lot of straight sex that does not fit in one man, one woman, married. So it's just, I don't see how. I just feel so. I don't want to, not ashamed, but I kind of feel like I want to distance myself from the liberal and GLBT communities at this moment in time, because they're all going apeshit over this, the ones who see it. And it's just horrible hypocrisy. And I hate it. With a capital So, yeah, there's that. I will be posting the link to the article I read in the description. There's a link in that link if you want to watch the video. Form your own opinions. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. I want to know. Because I would much rather be slightly abashed when I'm proven wrong, and then from that point on be right, than to continue to make an ass of myself, as I may have just done for 19 minutes and 39. Cheesy crazy, 19. Oh, goodness. So I'm just going to stop, like, right now.